Just as children learn to master verbal language by developing skills in vocabulary and grammar, they build visual language skills by learning about line, shape, form, space, texture, and color. As children develop these skills, it's important to reinforce that drawing is a way to communicate with others. Drawing has been and always will be a way for kids of all ages to learn about their world and express their ideas. For almost 90 years, Binney and Smith, makers of Crayola crayons, markers, colored pencils, paints, and other fun arts and craft supplies, have provided the tools for self-expression.
Welcome back to the drawing board, the place where we meet to draw and have fun. Today we'll be drawing sneakers. So grab your own sneakers, some markers and paper, and join in. I think it's cool to draw, and believe me, I'm no Leonardo da Vinci. But drawing helps me show people what I'm thinking and feeling. See? I asked some of my friends why they like to draw, and this is what they had to say.
I like to draw because it's putting my thoughts down on paper.
I like to be creative and let my imagination go wild.
I like to draw because it's a way to get my feelings down on paper without anybody knowing exactly what I'm saying.
I think it's really fun, and I like putting my details down.
I like to draw because I can put my thoughts on paper and let my imagination go wild. And when it turns out good, it kind of makes me feel good too.
Let's see how Adam draws his sneakers. Hi, Adam.
Hi, Sharon. Well, I start my drawings by using one of the 6 basic elements of design, and today we're focusing on line.
All right, Adam, show us how it's done. And everyone else look at your own sneakers and draw along.
Sweet, radical, bogus, bodacious, gnarly. Let me try.
Adam's eyes have learned to see the sneaker's edge, and his hand just follows what his eyes see. He squints to help him see the sneaker's edge. Try it and see if it works. The key here is that he takes his time, glancing back and forth from the sneaker to his drawing. And here he goes, rounding the curve and coming down the home stretch, maintaining a nice smooth pace and a nice smooth edge. He's spending more time looking at the sneaker than at the drawing. This takes practice and repetition, ladies and gentlemen, but as you can see, practice makes some pretty smooth lines. And hey, lines don't have to be perfect. The variations give the drawing Adam's unique style. And here he comes nearing the finish line, and he does it. And the crowd goes wild. And what's this? Wow, what an imagination. That's really cool, Adam. Let's see what some of the other kids have come up with. You see, everyone's different. Notice the different kinds of lines in our drawings. Wavy thin lines. Wide and bold lines make this sneaker look powerful. You see, there's no right way or wrong way to draw. Everyone has their own point of view and imagination, and they're all great. When you're practicing, try drawing the sneaker upside down and from other points of view. This will force you to concentrate on the edges. Then imagine what they could become. I wonder what the sneakers of the future will look like. Well, keep on drawing, because the more you draw, the more you learn.
Art brings a child's vision of the world to life in brilliant, colorful ways, and we can all learn something from what children communicate through their drawings. Did you ever wonder how the kids of the future will view their world? What stories will they be telling? Who can say? But one thing we know for sure is that seeing will always be an important part of learning about the world. For the kids of the future, maybe even the universe. Let's head back to the drawing board where Taryn and the gang are finding out firsthand about the importance of seeing the big picture.
Hi, we're glad you could make it back to the drawing board. I'm Taryn, your excellent host, here to show you, with some of my friends, how things are shaping up. This time we're going to be drawing fruits and veggies, like these. Shape is one of the 6 basic elements of design, and in order to draw shapes, you've got to be able to see them. There's no right way or wrong way to see things. Everybody's different. Some kids see with an eye for detail, like Isis, while others see clean, simple outlines. Tyler sees things with an expressive eye, while Anthony sees with an imaginative eye. And Christine, well, she sees with a crazy, totally radical eye. As you can see, everyone is training their eyes to see basic shapes in their fruits and veggies. Some kids squint to see the objects, and others pick them up and feel the shapes. Tyler, what are some of the basic shapes you see?
Well, Taryn, in a cucumber, I see a rectangle.
Christine, what do you see?
When I squint my eyes, I see a triangle in the pear.
What do you see, Anthony?
All I can see is stars.
Isis, you're pretty busy over here. What are you seeing?
Well, Taryn, it's not easy to describe the shape I see because there are several shapes in this pineapple. There's a large oval at the bottom, a triangle on the top, and lots of spiky pointed shapes sticking out.
So then this pineapple is a challenge for you?
Nah, it's easy to draw now that I can see the shapes.
Well then, why don't you show us how it's done? Come on, everybody, let's watch the pro.
Let's go see how Isis is doing. Oh, cool. That's really good.
Isis, I've got to hand it to you. You make it look real easy. But let's slow it down just a tad so everybody else can learn.
No problem.
I've noticed that you keep squinting. What does that help you do?
I know that this may look kind of funny, but the reason why I squint is because it helps me to separate the main shape of the pineapple from the background. Then I look for the basic shapes that I talked about earlier. I sketch them to position my object on the paper. Then I focus on the outside edge of the pineapple and start to draw those edges.
Notice how Isis takes her time, looking back and forth from the pineapple to her drawing. Once the outside edge is drawn, Isis begins to add the inside details. And the race is on, and here she goes, completing the spiky shapes at the top, and adding eyes, nose, and a mouth. What's this all about?
It's called imagination, Taryn.
Now let's see what some of the other kids have come up with.
I started my drawing by drawing a pear, and I turned him into a totally radical dancing dude.
In my drawing, I used a pear, and I made it into a make-believe cartoon character, and it's called the Pear Dude.
Believe it or not, hundreds of years ago, some pretty famous dudes were also drawing fruits and veggies, and the results turned out pretty cool. What you're about to see are some famous works of art. and some soon-to-be famous stuff from the kids. See if you can tell the difference. Pretty radical, don't you think? Were you surprised at how great the kids' drawings were? It just shows how far practice and imagination can take you. When you practice your shape drawings, here's a fun suggestion. Start with a whole big red juicy apple. Draw its shape. Now take a bite from the apple and draw the apple's shape again. Bite, draw, until you're at the core. Have fun and keep on drawing, because the more you draw, the more you learn. Pablo Picasso once said, "I finally realized I had painting down to perfection when I could imitate what children drew."
Hey, Derek, give us back our prop.
Welcome back to the drawing board. As you can see, the kids are getting ready to draw to learn about three-dimensional objects. They've taken ordinary things that they've found in their cupboards and painted them for the fun. You use any cereal boxes, cans, and bottles that you can find. Then add some unusual items for variety. Learning to see and draw three-dimensional objects helps give a realistic look to your pictures. Tyler's been working on his three-dimensional drawings and is here to offer some excellent advice. Oh, hey Tyler. What are you doing up there?
Hi, Taryn. I'm trying to get a different view on these objects, and it helps to look at them from different angles.
What are you doing now?
I'm adjusting the way the light hits the object so I can see where to add the shading.
Wow, that's a great way to see that the object is three-dimensional.
You know, a lot of people think it's hard to draw three-dimensional objects, and I can see why. You see, it's all an illusion, but pretty easy once you get the hang of it. To begin with, form is one of the 6 basic elements of design, and the focus of our fun today. Just like when we were looking for shapes, we saw things like a triangle in the pear. Now we are looking for three-dimensional forms like the pyramid in the pear.
Let's see how the gang is coming along with their form drawings.
I set up the boxes to make us, and then I saw a city scene, and I drew the boxes and I put windows on them to make it look like buildings.
Well, we just took like the 2 soda cans, we put them together to make a chimney, and then we took 2 boxes and we put like this little sort of triangle thing on it to make a roof, and it sort of makes it look like a barn with a chimney. And we took a lid of something, like you would usually put it on like this, but we put it backwards and we made it into a little duck pond.
Well, what do you think? Pretty cool, huh?
Wow, Tyler, that's great. Learning to draw angles and shading helps make objects in your pictures look three-dimensional. Why don't you show everyone how you used angle lines and shading to turn that ordinary milk carton into that totally rad van?
All right. Thanks, Russ.
No problem.
I'll start at the very beginning. Ta-da, the coolest.
Rather than have you draw your picture all over again, why don't we watch an instant replay so we can show how excellently you came up with that outrageous van?
All right. Well, the first thing that I did was to set up the angle of the milk carton so that I could see 3 sides. I set up my own lighting so that I could see exactly the way the light hit it. After everything is set up the way I like it, I draw the different sides of the carton. The angle of the lines I use makes it look like the carton is coming out at you. Then I add the detail lines. And Taryn, you can take it away from here.
Now here's where his drawing gets real, man, and it's made in the shade. Tyler adds shading to the sides of the box, lighter here, darker there, until it has the dimension that he sees and that he likes.
And this is my favorite part. I flipped the drawing onto its side and decided to turn it into a van by adding wheels and fancy detailing. It was neat the way the shadow effects made it look like it was on the road. These swirls back here make it look like it's going fast. Quite an imagination, wouldn't you say?
This drawing thing can get pretty wild. I wonder what'll happen next time when we draw to learn about objects in space. Whoa!
There's no denying that people see things in different ways. It's all a part of being the unique individual that you are. And it's these differences that are important to value and to learn from. In this picture, you might see a group of white lizards, and your friend might see a group of black lizards, and you're both right. It's the relationship between positive and negative spaces that play games with your eyes. And speaking about playing games in spaces, grab some of your favorite sports gear and get ready to draw to learn about objects in space with Taryn and the kids.
As you can see, things are getting pretty spacey around here. But as usual, there's a method to our madness. Here, follow me. By using these frames, we're able to see the relationship between the objects we're going to draw and how they fit on the paper. It's kind of like framing a shot through the viewfinder of a camera. As you can see, we're drawing our favorite sporting gear. So grab some of your favorite stuff and get ready to draw to learn about space. Hi, Anthony.
Hi, Taryn.
Anthony, explain how you're using that frame to see the picture that you're drawing.
Well, by looking through the frame, I can focus on the objects that I want to draw. Here, take a look. It's neat how you really notice spaces between the objects and how some of them overlap each other. By looking through this frame, I was able to decide which objects I wanted to use in my drawing and where I wanted to place them on my paper.
That's awesome. Everybody come over here and take a look at this.
That's good.
Anthony, we're going to watch you as you draw.
All right.
Nice job.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys. I've been doing a lot of practicing, and it sure has paid off. But now I'd like to show you a drawing game that's even more fun and challenging. Watch this. Shazam! Whoa! The wonders of technology. Now, here we are back where I started. I turned my drawing upside down and voila! I see things in a whole new way. Here's where I can let my imagination run wild. Ta-da! My new, totally flipped out intergalactic picture.
You know, artists have been playing games with space for quite some time. What you're about to see are some of our favorite examples of spacey manipulation. Pretty cool, huh? Well, I can see that everybody else wants to show what they've come up with. Hey, Billy, what's going on over there?
Well, I'm no usher yet, but maybe someday. For right now, I'm training my eyes to draw. I've discovered that if I draw the baseball large and overlap in the glove, it looks like it's ready to be caught. But if I draw the glove large, like this, with a small ball up in the corner, it looks like it could be a grand slam.
Okay, who's the next one up to bat?
I prefer a tennis ball and racket. I first trained my eyes to see the ball, and then I drew it. Then I trained my eyes to see the ball when I wanted to hit it. And this is what I came up with.
Good job, Kristen. Here are some other drawings from today. One other thing for all you parents out there. Frames can be used for a lot more than just seeing objects, if you know what I mean. This is Letitia, here with other furry friends to help us draw to learn about the way things feel. The first thing we're going to do is take a close look at all the animals to focus on what makes them furry, bumpy, or smooth. Then we close our eyes and touch the animals to feel the different textures. Okay, Tisha. Hey, Billy, how are you going to show what Bucky O'Hare's fur looks like with your crayons?
Well, Taryn, the fur is very soft, so I chose some colors that would blend together. A black, gray, white, and pink. Then I chose a soft colored paper.
Sounds great, Billy, but how are you going to get that furry look?
I know how smooth Bucky O'Hare feels, but when I look at him, I see thousands of tiny hairs that make up his fur. There's no way that I could draw all those lines, but I can get the look of them by drawing small marks around the outside edge of the bunny's shape.
We'll be back in a little while to see how things are coming along, but keep up the good work. Hi, Kristen.
Hi,
Who's your
Taryn.
friend? And what are you doing with that brush?
This is Rio, and she is a yellow-naped parrot. I've already drawn the outline of her body with the marker. Now I'm going to wet the brush and the lines to create fuzzy edges to give Rio a softer color.
That's great, Kristen. Between you and Billy, we're able to see different ways to express how the animals look and feel. Hey, Tyler, what are you doing? Is that paper?
No, when I decided to draw Leaping Lizard, I wanted to use something that already had a bumpy texture, so naturally I chose sandpaper. Here, try it out.
That's very clever, Tyler. You used a surface that was already bumpy to imitate the look of Leaping Lizard's skin.
Yup, I guess it's just that wild imagination of mine again. And besides, it's fun to try and draw things with different materials.
I'll have to try it sometime. But now let's check on Billy and Bucky O'Hare. Are you ready, Billy?
Sure, come on over.
Wow, Billy, it looks just like Bucky O'Hare. Can you show us how you came up with that fuzzy phenomenon?
Sure, Jessica, I'd be happy to. First, I sketched the outside edge of the bunny's shape with a medium gray color. Then I had furry lines to show his head, ears, legs, and tail. Here's where the soft fuzzies come in. I used different colored marks to imitate the look of the fur. I added brown eyes and a pink nose, and ta-da! Fuzzy bunny.
What's up, Jessica? Why doesn't everybody show us how they've drawn texture to imitate their animals' feel? Here's an easy way to add texture to an outline drawing. Lay your paper on something which has texture, like a brick, plastic doily, or dish strainer. Rub your crayon over the paper, and a texture rubbing will magically appear. You know, fingers are the original high-touch tools. Use them to do a texture exploration of the objects around your house. As you touch the objects, think how you would draw how they feel. And be nice to our furry friends. Welcome back to the drawing board. No need to adjust your TV sets. We're experimenting with how colors change the way we feel. Right now things are looking pretty hot and exciting. But the mood changes to cool, quiet, and a little shadowy when we switch to blue.
Hey, Taryn, let's cheer things up again with some sunny yellow.
Okay. Colors sure can be inspirational, especially in drawings. Today we're going to focus on how color interacts with the other basic elements of design. To begin with, we'll get back to the basics. Jessica and Kristen are using the three basic or primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, to mix other colors.
Taryn, we've discovered a fun way to mix colors that we're using to create a crazy mixed-up dragon.
First, we place a few drops of yellow and red paint in the center of the sheet of paper. Then we fold it in half, smush it together, open it, and ta-da! Orange!
Here's what you need to make green. Everyone can try it. A few drops of yellow and a few drops of blue. Fold it, smush, and open.
Can we do my favorite colors?
Sure, what are they?
Red and blue.
Voila! Purple!
Wow, girls, it looks like you've got the beginnings of a totally dynamic dragon. We'll be back later to see how things are shaping up. But right now, let's take a look at what Christine is up to. Hi, Christine.
Hi, Taryn.
What are you up to?
I'm having a blast over here with color and creatures.
Why don't you explain what you're doing so the other kids can learn too?
Okay. First, I drew an outline of an imaginary creature. I colored him in with glowing reds and oranges and added lots of pointy, scaly texture. Then we created fiery, spiky shapes for the background. Pretty fierce, wouldn't you say? Let's go back to the original outline drawing and see if the creature has a different personality.
Okay.
This time, I used browns and tans and white blended together to create a soft texture for his silky fur. We put the creature in a field of tall, waving green grasses with small yellow wildflowers. Now he's a gentle earthling. But I wanted to find out if there was another side to his personality that we hadn't seen yet. So I covered him with angular shapes in purple, metallic blue, and silver, and added lots of shading. Finally, we covered the background in dark blue. And he could be a creature from another planet.
Meanwhile, the rest of the gang have been designing colorful masks which reveal their personalities. This should be interesting. We'll see what they've come up with. We hope you've had as much fun today as we have. Well, that's all the time we have today, so keep on drawing, because the more you draw, the more you learn.